What is up, everyone? Welcome to the association. We just watched Game 7 as a family, and the Spurs are going back to the NBA Finals for the first time in 12 years since 2014. They are the newly crowned Western Conference Finals champions. The Spurs defeat the defending champion Thunder 111-103 on the road. I'm Roz Golden-Wood. I'll be your host for the night. I'm joined with NBA analyst Trevor Lane of the Front Office Show podcast. Trevor, how's that game got you feeling?
Roz, I'm feeling great. That was everything that we could have asked for. We were begging the basketball gods to please give us a Game 7 in this series, and not only did they deliver with a Game 7, but that was a classic. What a phenomenal game. And look, I'm going to be smiling for days because we got to see such an amazing game.
I said heading into it, the two most exciting words in sports, Game 7, and this one delivered. I mean, we were calling it from the kind of the season heading into the coming out of the NBA Cup as well. This is a budding rivalry. And now we see the Spurs and the Thunder see each other for the 12th time this season. And it went down to it, just an epic battle throughout. So the Spurs are going to play the Knicks in the NBA Finals, defeating the OKC Thunder, and a new NBA champion will be named. Trevor, what impressed you most about the effort of the Spurs?
You know, we said it going into the game that the San Antonio Spurs had to come into this game and play with force, and they did exactly that. They were the aggressor in this game. I thought the depth, ironically, it was the depth of the Spurs that really won them the day. Historically, we've seen the depth of the Thunder that's really carried things for them, but it was the Spurs' depth. It was their ability to play with a lot of force throughout this game, and just the fact that they looked, despite being such a young team here, they looked completely at ease. They looked like the moment was not too big. The lights were not too bright. They looked like everything that was happening was what they expected to happen. And that I have to give them so much credit for that, because it's so difficult for a team this young to step up onto that stage, especially with players that are young, like Dylan Harper, who had a really big game off the bench. We saw Julian Champagnie have some big buckets as well. He lit it up in the third quarter, leading the team with 11 points. And that was as much as the focus is going to be on Victor Wembanyama, as it should be. This was a whole team effort from San Antonio, where the lights were never too bright for any of them. An absolutely phenomenal performance, and one for Spurs fans to be very proud of.
Yes, for the Spurs, 7 players scored in double figures, including the entire starting 5. And then on the podium, after when they were, celebrating winning the Western Conference Finals championship, Coach Mitch Johnson's being interviewed, and he said, they don't give a damn about the word experience. And so not only do you have to give props to the players, but also props to the coaching staff and Mitch Johnson and his ability to prepare this team for a stage and lights this bright. What can you say about the job of Mitch Johnson here in year 2, stepping in after Popovich?
Oh, he's done a phenomenal job. I mean, you can see it in the steadiness of the club. You can see it in every player knowing exactly what their roles are on the team, knowing exactly what's expected of them. And more than that, but the trust that you can tell that they have in each other. They know that the guy next to them is going to make the big play. The guy next to them has got their back. And there's a big element of team building that gets wrapped up into that. And in culture that we're seeing Mitch Johnson not bring, but continue for a San Antonio Spurs organization that has had now for decades. So he has done an incredible job with this team, deserves all of the flowers that he's going to be getting coming out of this series, to go into OKC in a Game 7 and knock out the defending champs that's considered one of the best teams that we've seen in years. Just an absolutely phenomenal job. And it speaks volumes to what level of coach they've got there in San Antonio.
Yeah, and one thing that stands out to me is immediately after the game, the amount of emotion pouring out of these guys, and especially from Wemby. I mean, when you see that level of intensity and emotional vulnerability from this team, what does that make you feel watching this young Spurs team? Because oftentimes, to even know why you feel it that personally, sometimes pain has to be a great teacher. Sometimes it has to come from falling short before, but this Spurs team is taking it like right there, and you can see the emotion pouring out them as they take each step forward.
Yeah, that's a phenomenal point, Roz. You know, there's this idea in the NBA and in sports in general that in order for a team to ultimately reach the peak of the mountain, you have to experience setbacks along the way. You've got to experience that pain. You've got to feel that. That's going to drive you moving forward. And this Spurs team, again, there's a wisdom beyond their years. They did not take this moment for granted. There was no moment in their minds that you could see where they thought, you know what, we're just happy to be here. No, there was none of that. They were determined, this is our time. We're not waiting till next year, because it's sports. You never know if next year is going to come. They did not take it for granted. They made sure that this was the year that they were going to go out there and get it done and get all the way to the NBA Finals. And they may get there for many years to come. This is a very good team that's going to be around for a long time, but they were ready for the moment and they did not take it for granted.
Great points, Trevor. Speaking of the youth and the depth that the Spurs were able to lean on, I said there were 7 players who scored in double digits. Well, one of them was Julian Champagny, and he had 20 points, 6 rebounds. He made 6 threes, 6 for 10 from 3. I mean, he was out there doing his big one. And right after the Spurs advanced to the NBA Finals, we had a post-game interview with him. Let's take a listen. Congratulations. You guys are the Western Conference Finals champions. So much was made
Appreciate
about experience. Yes, yes. And all people were talking about coming into this game 7 was experience, that a lot of players on your team hadn't played in a game 7. What prepared you guys to overcome that and perform so convincingly on this stage?
Yeah, I mean, I think for us, we don't have the so-called experience that everybody talks about, but we've had a year. We've had games where Vic doesn't play, Fox doesn't play. We're down our best players, and we still have to pull out wins, and we've done just that. We've been in the cup. I know it's quite, it's not quite like Game 7, but we lean on things like those to kind of push us through and pull us through. Because at the end of the day, it's just a game. It's one game. May the best team win. So yeah.
Julian, right now, the tweet announcing from 3 years ago that you were being waived by the 76ers is regaining circulation. What's your journey been like to get from that point to where you are right now?
Yeah, man. I mean, it's been crazy, honestly and truly. And I get cut on Valentine's Day at that, so that was rough. But you get waived and you have to figure it out. I got to San Antonio 2 days later, and I've just been going since then. I was fortunate enough to get there with Coach Pop, and he was really good for me. He told me play hard, gave me some little tidbits that I've taken to this point in my career. And then Coach Mitch has been great. My teammates have been great. So it's been an up and down roller coaster. A lot of nights fighting the mental battle, but it's been fun so far. It's been great.
What's the kind of messaging, those tidbits, the things that you hold on to when you think about conversations you got to have with Pop?
Yeah, so I remember very vividly, we were playing Golden State. This was my first year. I was on the two-way still, and he had told me after the game, he was like, you have to play nastier. I know he tells everybody that, but it was his first time telling me that in a one-on-one conversation. He told me I have to play nastier, and to continue to work on my niche, which is shooting. So since then, I've been like, I have to become a better defender, more of a team defender, play a little nasty, hit, rebound, and stuff like that. And I've just been taking that year by year with me. I feel like this is the year that I've been able to put it all together and give a better polished, finished product with ways to go. But, those are the 2 things that I take with me all the time.
You dropped 20 points in tonight's game, 11 in a massive third quarter. What allowed you to get into that kind of a rhythm in the second half of this game?
My teammates, honestly and truly. We spoke about passing the ball, and they do a really good job of finding me when I'm open. And, they all know, and I feel it. Like, one goes in, that's all I really need to kind of, tell myself, get going. So, couple open shots here and there, a couple buckets, a foul. That's kind of how it goes. But definitely my teammates.
Julian, I'll get you out on this one. Your team heads to the NBA Finals.
Yeah.
What's going to be, What's going to be key in that series, as you're going to see a New York Knicks team that's been resting and waiting for you?
Yeah. A lot of physicality, hit first, rebounding and stuff like that. Obviously, we've seen them twice this year. We got them once they got us. So it'll be good. It'll be a nice challenge. It'll be a nice challenge for us.
Yeah, you guys have shown you are not afraid of the challenge. And
Not
right
afraid of
now,
the challenge.
enjoy this. Enjoy this one. It's a big one. Congratulations, and thank you for the time.
Thank you, guys.
Oh, that was awesome to be able to talk to Julian there. I mean, what a journey already in such a young, short NBA career so far that he's been able to make. What do you think about the testimony that he has so far in this league?
Yeah, I mean, great story of perseverance in terms of going from being cut just a few years ago to now the role that he's in on a team that's going to the NBA Finals. It just shows you how far you really can come in this league. You find the right spot, you find the right niche, and you just battle and you fight and you find your way through. He's done a tremendous job, and great to see him have such a big game tonight. Again, 11 big points in the third quarter, 20 points in the game. All of it came within rhythm of the game itself. He's absolutely fantastic and a great story for sure.
Yeah, and what stands out to me too is kind of the bridging of generations of great Spurs eras, from the past to now, and hearing these young guys really appreciate and have respect for what happened in the past, and like hearing him talk about Pop and the advice he gave him and how much he cherished that. Man, any hoop head, that's going to warm your heart, man. All right, let's take a little break at the association. On the other side of this break, we're going to come back with interviews, more analysis coming straight from Oklahoma City, where the pressers and players and coaches are addressing the media. Stay with us.